A dominant effort for Texas in the Cotton Bowl, 445 yards of total offense. Our offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach joins us now, Major Applewhite in offense. Mike Davis, was that the man-to-man coverage?
I think it was Evil.
Yeah, was that Dr. Evil?
I'm not sure if he was calling for help or if it was Dr. Evil. I'm not sure what it was.
Well, Oklahoma was calling for help early in this game because you guys came out running, came out physical. Was that the game plan? What was your game plan heading into the Cotton Bowl?
Just in talking with the staff and really watching the Notre Dame game, looking at that game, and had they not dug themselves a hole and put themselves 14 points down, they ran the ball well out of two tight end set. They broadened a three-man surface and really found some things in the inside zone and outside zone and some of the power game. And you see them come back and score 21 points, and they lose 35-21. And my whole thought process was if you don't spot them 14 by flipping the ball around early and getting some turnovers and giving them a short field, you probably win that game at home.
Yeah.
And so with the stable of backs we had, quarterback situation we had, wanted to run the ball a little bit more, take some time off the clock, use some tempo, and take our shots when we saw one-on-one.
Yeah, we saw a lot of two tight end sets. We had Dan Neal and David Thomas in here. Both those guys know something about blocking. Well, Dan does. David knows about catching touchdowns. But David also, obviously, with the tight end, he just couldn't believe that you went to the two tight end set that often, but also with the fullback. Was that something the team was comfortable with during practice?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a part of what we do, and there's so much stuff that has carried over in the last 2 years in terms of our two tight end package. And Jeff and Greg both were playing off the ball and moving in a fullback type role. So we wanted to keep that personnel in the field, and then we were able to have some fast-paced things out of it, some runs and some passes. So no matter what our personnel group was on the field, we were able to go tempo, and I think that was helpful.
Let's give 36 Alex De La Torre some love, too, because as a fullback, he buried some Oklahoma linebackers and created some holes.
I had the fortune of coaching him for a year at fullback, and absolutely loved his demeanor and attitude. And we had a guy like Jamison Berryhill, who was a year ahead of him. Same kind of guy, and I just knew it was a matter of time before he fell into that role. And as much as he hits people and as much as he loves contact, I'm a little bit upset we didn't get him that ball on 4th and 2.
Yeah, I know. That was close. We talked about that with Case. Yep. Case had a lot of great plays. That's one he probably wanted back. But it really was about the ground game. 255 yards rushing. The Sooners came in as the top D coming into the game, so you knew you were facing a pretty stout unit. What was the biggest difference in terms of their run game? Was it the offensive line and their play?
Well, I think the offensive line played extremely well. I thought our backs were very efficient. 3-4 yard runs are big runs in those games. And when you can get in 3rd and medium, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, it allows you a lot of opportunities as a play caller. And I also have to give credit to Case. That a lot of times he's putting us in the right runs. You're seeing him check from the right to the left or changing scheme. So that's what it was all about, and telling him was we want to be able to run the ball, be efficient with it. We've got to have great eyes in the run game. That's part of ball security, keeping the ball, time of possession. And at some point, you'll get your singled up shots outside, and we've got to hit on those.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with the 4th and 2, I'm sure. Had to be happy with some excellent balls with one-on-one coverage. You've had a week to kind of digest the film. I know you've probably watched it a million times. As a former quarterback, what really impressed you about his effort? What did he do that fans maybe didn't see?
The run game. Getting us in the right calls.
So that mental part.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of quarterbacks can tell you, well, the coverage rolled here, I'm going there. This corner's not as good, that one, I'm going over here. But they can't tell you, well, this shade is right here, but this shade is wide and it might rock, so I need to run the ball over there. They don't understand 3 techniques and shades and those type of things. They're very involved in the passing game, but what he did was kind of big boy.
Yeah.
He went in there, was changing some runs and helped us get into some good looks, and they're blitzing from this side, and he's running zone that way, and the back creases it like you just saw Malcolm a second ago. So those type of things. And anybody should be able to throw versus one-on-one. I mean, that's summer football camp.
Well, you guys can. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Division I quarterback.
You should be.
And he did. He obviously showed that. You talk about some of the zone blocking schemes. As a quarterback, what's so difficult for a guy like Case in terms of kind of understanding where it's going to be open? Because with zone blocking, the hole usually is on the backside, right?
Sure, yeah. And when we're running inside zone, the cutback's usually backside. When we're running outside zone, we're going to run outside to get inside. If there's no sideboards on it, we'll take it all the way around the edge. You saw Malcolm have one like that right before the field goal, before the end of half. You saw Jonathan get one like that outside late in the game in the 4th quarter when we're trying to take the air out the ball. But it's just really about seeing the rotation of the safeties, how tight are the techniques, where they might be slanting, things like that. So
it's just a lot of little things too, right?
Oh, it's
You said earlier he's like a 38-year-old guy. Case pretty much is.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got a lot of moxie about him, and now's the real challenge. Honestly, now's the real challenge as a quarterback.
What is that challenge for him?
They've patted you on the back for a week. They've given you a crown. They've carried you around the city and all.
You got your legacy.
Yeah, So, okay, are you a one-hit wonder, or can you come up with a second album? What you got? So, that's our message, and that's my message too. Same thing for me as a coach, and the same thing for our coaches is you're going to get patted on the back a lot in this town. So, move on to the next one.
Yeah, you don't want to be that 1980s one-hit wonder.
No.
We saw so many of those.
No.
Well, when you take a look at after this game, you said that you thought it really gave your team an identity, and you finally had an identity. What is it?
Well, we relied on the run. And we allowed that to create some one-on-one matchups because they had to start getting safeties down in the box. But the thing that I was really proud of our football team is they put so much into this game. And that's what we told them on Sunday. Don't for a second shortcut yourself. Have satisfaction in this win, enjoy it, but understand why you won. You prepared your tail off. To the nth degree. I've got Case calling me at the house on Thursday night after practice saying, hey, Coach, when we run this wheel post scheme that we run, can I play the field on it? If I see inside leverage, that's the score to Marcus.
Yeah, that was a 17-3
That's
play.
Thursday night. That's a text message.
And he asked you about that.
Yeah, that's a text message, and he's texting me, and I'm saying, sure, if you see inside leverage, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about having that level of commitment throughout the week, so when you see it on Saturday, it's there.
How much of this play was also, you've talked about the depth of wide receivers, and you've got Marcus Johnson that on a lot of teams, maybe the number 1 or 2 guy. I noticed how you didn't pick on Aaron Colvin there. You picked on their nickel back, and now Oklahoma's got a good secondary, but always go after number 4 instead of going after number 1, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to, that's what you want to do. When you get them in their nickel and dime packages, all of a sudden you start pulling a defensive back off the sideline that hadn't played a whole bunch.
Right.
And so you can create some good matchups in that situation. And we threw the wheel route earlier in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Jackson made a great play on the sideline. And as we watched that play, we talked and said, hey, listen, the look is there. Mm-hmm. So if we get it dialed up again, let's go for it. And so we called it on 3rd and 6, and we jumped off sides. And I was like, please, let's heck with it. Do it.
Called it again?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it was there. And then Marcus did a great job, did everything that Coach White taught him to do. And Case threw him a good ball in line, gave him great protection.
You said after the win in Ames, we go back there, that you weren't happy with your performance overall and that there were some adjustments that you wanted to make. What adjustments did the offensive staff and really the whole team make during that off week?
Well, it's easier to run the ball out of some of the sets that we were running them in against the front that we were playing against.
Yeah.
Against a 30 front, you want to broaden them.
30 front being 3 down linemen.
3 down linemen, 4 backers, and we want to put 2 tight ends and broaden that front. Mm-hmm. Against a 4-man front, you still have some schematic advantages with that tight end package, but it really suits well versus that 30 front. So it kind of lent itself more towards the Oklahoma game and running the ball better out of those sets. The Iowa State game, I think sometimes you go in as a staff and maybe you score on the first series and you start thinking, hey, this is going to be that kind
Easier,
of day.
Yeah.
And you maybe get a little impatient. Or if a run doesn't work here or there, you say, heck with it, let's just throw it every down. But you really...
Do you feel like you were a little impatient?
Well, you got to, I'm not going to go back and do all that garbage. I'm just not, because that's for fans. I'm not doing that. I went on to the next game and we won that one too. But the whole point is you got to be patient throughout the game. You got to have maturity. You got to know what to listen to and how to move on with the game plan.
When you establish that line of scrimmage and you take that deep shot like you talked about and like you did successfully in the Cotton Bowl, is that a feeling that you just say, look, we got to call it now, or is that something we're looking for this look and we're going to dial it up?
Yeah, we ran the one before Mike. I think it was 2 plays prior to that. We ran the power with Malcolm, and I saw the safety walking down. I said, let's give him another power look. And if the guy walks down, Case isn't going to check it. He's going to throw it.
Yeah.
And it was 2 plays later, and the guy walked down. I knew as soon as that guy took 1 step down, I was like, Case is going to throw it because he's not going to check it to the run. He wants to throw it. So if that guy takes 1 step, and sure enough, he took it, and Mike ran a great route, and that's something that we scored on this year before.
It gave him some time, gave him some space
gave
on
him the
that
grass.
fade.
He gave him all that grass to throw the ball out to.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of good things that came from Saturday. None better than being able to wear the golden hat. We did a little segment on Monday, Joan Rivers-esque, who wore it better. We've got a couple different people. Case ended up being the winner. I think Donald Hawkins, for a guy who's been here a couple years, you think he was into this game? And then also we have Quandre Diggs, I believe, doing a little giddy up. But then look at you, the nice shirt and everything. I thought you wore it pretty well. Our producer, Andy Wall, actually picked you as the one who wore it the best. She's just kissing.
I appreciate it. Well, dorky.
I
think the other 3 guys, I'll tell you what, that was the best feeling, honestly, as a young coach, but just knowing that feeling as a player.
Yeah.
When you see those guys with the hat on and in the locker room, we haven't felt like that in a while. So it was a lot of fun to see those guys have fun with it.
All Access does a good job, but take us inside that locker room. What were the emotions like right after?
Well, it was, a big burden,
Yeah.
It's on your back for 3 years, and you've got guys like Chris Whaley and Trey Hopkins and all those seniors who they came here with the hopes of 10-win seasons and beating Oklahoma and wearing the hat, and they've gone through all the trials and tribulations, and they're building the program back to where it wants to be, and now they got a chance to enjoy that hat, and it was theirs. It wasn't, I'm a red shirt, and
Yeah.
it's no, I did it.
Right. Yeah.
So they figured it out, and and I think they figured out a lot about themselves in that game.
Now, Coach, it was
on both sides of the ball.
On both sides of the ball, you're right. It was a dominant effort. It was a great game plan on both sides of the ball. And this is an undefeated Texas team with everything conference-wise still ahead of you guys. So congratulations.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to it.